What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Business and Biceps. And you better wake your ass up, because on today's show, we're going to talk about some intangibles that could help you win in business. Not help you. They're going to help you, make you win. You're going to be a winner. Big winner John Fosco's on the other end of the line. He knows all about this stuff. I can't wait to hear what he's got to say today. What do you think, Johnny?
We're going to talk about basic shit. We're going to talk about why everybody listening should and will be successful. And these are extremely basic things that are probably born in our childhood. They probably have a lot to do with how we're raised. Yep. But I think you will find it fascinating, the value of basic stuff in business and how much money these things can make you.
Well, and how they're maybe not so basic right now, but we need to return it to basics. You know what I'm saying? So
I don't think. Yeah, I think they may not be common right now, but they're pretty fucking basic.
They're always basic, but they might be not common. Well Correct. Said. Yeah. Volatility of the stock market is ever so present right now, John. I want to rap about this for 5 or 10 because I'm taking it super serious now. You've been in it for a long time. Dude, there's some stuff that's, still doing well, but man, this bitch is red as fuck one day and green the next day. And it seems like just really hard to put your finger on right now. It's interesting time as an investor, huh?
I think this is a great example of, we've talked about this before on the podcast, of how Wall Street they're like the house in a casino. They're always positioned to win. They understand the game because they control the game, because they control enormous amounts of money. So what they do is they create doomsday scenarios, and then they create confetti and balloons, right, which the market's going to go up, but they create these things and they move these things. So number one, I want people to understand that when the market goes down severely, people can make just as much money shorting stocks, which means essentially betting that they will go down, as they can make if stocks increase. So when you see red, the market's falling. Well, if you have any awareness that might happen, right, that Trump might say tomorrow that China and the tariffs we slap on them are going to increase, if you have any awareness of that, which all these guys are plugged into the same fucking club, then you're going to short a bunch of stocks and you're going to make just as much money, if not more, than if the stocks go up. Okay, that's the first thing. So when stocks go down, Explain a short,
John, because there might be some people don't understand it. Explain what the short is and how. Yeah, so I don't know why it's even legal to do. To be honest, it's fucked up. But go ahead.
It's like you're buying a stock and you're going to make money or profit on its increase if you just buy it the conventional way. Well, if I buy a stock and I short it, if I short a stock, and let's say I short Amazon, and Amazon's at 1,800, and I short 100 shares, and my put level, put means where I'm betting it's going to go is 1,750, right? So that's $50 between 1,800 and 1,750, and if it hits that 1,750 mark, and I bought 100 shares, right, that's $50 times 100. Right. So what do we have right there? Right. That's $5,000. So I can call that put and basically get my money. So if you do that on a massive scale, right? So as opposed to saying 1,800 to 1,750, let's say 1,800 to 1,790, right? Because a stock that's $1,800 moving 1%. Is moving $18, right? So if I'm going to bet that it's going to fucking move $10, that's a little over 0.5%, and I put 200 million behind it because I'm a hedge fund. When that hits, that's serious fucking money. So people have to be aware that the forces of the market don't, like, everyone doesn't just win when it's green and lose when it's red. Not at all. Not at all. So I would be suspect that when right now the market is moving according to Trump's speeches and his tweets on the tariff situation with China. And this really bothers me because Trump is threatening, imposing. But when they're talking about a solution between China and the United States, Trump is just threatening. He doesn't even know what he wants from China. He's talking. He's invested in the fact that, we're going to get the Chinese, we're going to up the tariffs. Well, China's saying, what do you want? And the motherfucker can't answer, what do you want? He'll make broad statements. We want better deals. Bro, you're the president. What do you want? So what's happening is this cycle with the market where Trump says, I'm going to back off on tariffs. Boom, the market goes up. And then the next day, Trump's like, you know what? I'm going to up the tariffs on fucking American-made whatever bicycles that gets exported to China, and then the market goes down. So it's like he is the puppet master of the market right now, and to think that that's not a benefit to him because he knows, hey, you know what? Tomorrow I'm going to tweet an angry tweet at China right before the market opens. That dude fucking knows what it's going to do to the market, and to think that he's not indirectly profiting from all this maneuvering is absurd. So you, the listener, if you're invested in the market, you need to be aware of the game. The market isn't a company's doing good, its stock goes up. That's not how it fucking works. It's all about fucking news and propaganda. And sure, if it has a good quarter and it beats analyst estimates, it's going to go up. Sure. But outside of that, dude, it's all about stories. This company could potentially do X if it does X. The market and the big banks that underwrite these stocks, they tell stories and then they sell stories to the investors, right? So like Cory, we were just talking about Uber. Uber just lost $5.2 billion. Okay.
Unreal.
In Q2, in one quarter. $5.2 billion. But guess what? When Uber hit the market, everybody lined up to buy it because it's Uber.
Including me.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's just these games that are played that the big banks know, hey, this is it's overpriced coming into the market because it's so far from profitable, but the name is Uber. It's a sexy name. Every retail investor is going to want to buy it. And then that's what they do.
Yeah, it's crazy because, I had read these things and for years, and you look at the history of the market, and a lot of people believe this, and this is kind of one of my questions to you, John, because you're more versed in this than me, but it's like the time involved that you're in it. There's these downswings and upswings, and I remember when I was starting my business back in the day in like 2008 and 2009, that was right after the housing crash. The fucking market was in the tank, but you only really so-called lose the money if you actually sell the shares when it's down. Right. But are you of the belief that obviously you're going to move in and out of stuff, but just being and participating in it for the period of time that you're still going to net out? I mean, in theory, that percentage per year, or is that not?
It's about your portfolio. Yeah. So if you own 8 stocks, it's okay if you're getting beat up bad on one. And they just, let's say, announced a poor quarter, and the guidance for the next quarter is poor. It's okay to say, shit, man, I'm down 32%, and it looks like next quarter is ugly. Like, it's okay to pull out. Your goal is that those 8 stocks combined for the year, return you 20%. Yeah, I mean, that would be a great year. Now, sure, if you have some winners, like we were talking about Shopify has been a fucking gigantic winner for me this year. Sure, everyone can talk about the winners they pick, but it's not about that. It's about having a portfolio of things that are aggressive, having a portfolio of things that, Apple used to be considered aggressive. Now it's a safer stock. I hold a decent amount of Apple because Apple is so ingrained to our lives. Like, how are you really going to derail Apple right now? If you're going to derail it, it's going to take many years to do so. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed. Yeah,
So
agreed.
I just think you have to look at a portfolio, not individual equities. It's okay to sell and take a loss if your portfolio is winning. I mean, but you cannot do it emotionally. It has to be based on information like, damn, this company looks like it's going down. And oh, fuck, by the way, here, I moved out of Netflix. I was a big Netflix advocate for the past 3-4 years. I moved out of it. And I made my money on it. And I still think Netflix is great. I think it's a great company, but here's a fact. There are 7-8 more streaming competitors. One of them is Disney. One of them has the rights to, let's say, Star Wars movies, and everybody's streaming. Amazon Prime is a beast, and there's all these other, Hulu's and many other. I have
competitive now.
Yeah, and I think Netflix is gonna continue to do great things. But at the end of the day, the pie for streaming is only so big. It's only so big, and with more competitors, it just makes the landscape more competitive. So I chose to take some off the table with Netflix because of that reason.
And that's just, and what I like about, and I've seen Warren Buffett talk about this stuff too, Johnny, it's like common sense. That's common sense of you. Hey, when I got into this, it was the only show in town. Guess what? I made X amount of dollars. I'm up whatever percentage. And now there's 9 shows in town and 6 of them are really good. Netflix is still great, but my opportunity to get that increase is maybe past now, and I'll take mine and move on. Like, that's just common sense investing. I really thought, I mean, to me, and until I saw the huge loss that Uber just took, but I mean, I've used Uber every time I've traveled, and I see it, and you just see the magnitude of how it changed an entire industry. And you think, similar to, like you said, like, man, it's just ingrained almost like in Apple in a way, not to the same degree.
Sure.
But then you see, like, fuck, how do you lose $5 billion in a quarter?
I don't even know how that's possible.
Hey, I was around some guys that spent like drunken sailors, and bro, I don't even know if they could have done that, bro. I don't know, maybe. But that's but at the end of the day, it's like, and then figuring out not being emotional. And so that's where you're really good with the money too, John. And I've got better at it. It's like not being emotional. If something's down, it's red. But overall, like, and I've really tried to do this too, is like have a couple aggressive things that are going to fluctuate like crazy, and that you could win big on some of them, and have the ones, that are steady. But like we were talking before we got on the phone or on the mics, is some of the ones that are steady might not be that steady 3 to 5 years from now, because energy's changing, pharmaceuticals changing, like our
political parties change,
political change, like our world is changing. So it's like, the things that, let's say, the generation that's in their 50s had been invested in and diversified in could be, and it will be wildly different, 10 years from now for us. So it's an interesting time to be in the market. And I start to wonder, is it going back to where real estate's always a good play, but is that going to be more and more of a play as this gets continually more volatile? Will a lot of the people with wealth start going more into property again? I don't know. Here's
the theme I'm seeing in property that I strongly believe in, and this is where you people with wealth win. What you used to see 20 years ago, a lot of luxury or nice, we'll call them nice, condo developments. Condo meaning you purchase them. Sure. Now it's all luxury apartments. Well, apartments are so much better. So for the group of let's assume wealthy people that are building that, it's so much better to get your $3,500, $4,500 a month on each door than sell something for $800,000. Like, it's so much better because that asset returns nonstop, like a fucking revolving door. And what did it cost you to build the complex. And like, so luxury rentals like are where it's at. So if you're going to spend $78 million to build a condominium complex, fuck it. I don't want to sell the units. I want to rent them as premium because I know what it costs to pay. Oh, I need to fill every one of these rooms, every one of these doors for 4.5 years. And this motherfucking building's paid off. And now I'm collecting fucking $3,500 to $4,500 on every door in perpetuity. Are you fucking kidding me? See, because back 20 years ago, people weren't, society hadn't changed so much to where like, I need to live up to my income. Right. So people weren't that stupid to put themselves in that scenario. People would buy so they have something to show for it. But when you're putting yourself in that scenario, let's say long term, you're just trying to fucking keep up with the Joneses and you're overextending yourself.
That makes sense. So people are buying up when they have no business really being in that luxury type of level because they're really
right. They can never afford to buy it. They can never afford to buy
it. Yeah. That just speaks to what's going on in the streets right now. You're
in
right,
the streets.
John.
Absolutely.
This is cool because, a lot of times we don't have general conversation about things like this, or we haven't. We're starting to more. But I think this is interesting because this is a lot of what's real time happening right now as people are trying to get more aggressive. And I know you've had some real estate in the past and still own some too. Are you looking to head back that direction, John, or are you going to just kind of hang tight?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about, I mean, I think there's nothing better someone can do than to buy as many bedrooms as you can for a reasonable price, 3 bedrooms ideally, 3-bedroom condo, 3-bedroom single family home for a low amount of money. Like mine were in Florida, all under $100,000, all renting for, I don't know, anywhere from fucking $1,500 a month, call it. And I'm, and I'm paying them off for 60 to 70 grand. I'm getting that money in every month. Now, sure, there's taxes, there's this and that, but even if I'm netting $700 a month in rent, well, when I went to sell the last 2, one of them was up 100, the price of the actual asset was up 120%. We sold it. The other one was up like 96%. We sold it. And all the while we're taking in $700-800 a month. I mean, it's just like you want to be, you want to be the guy like getting paid versus paying.
Yeah. Word. Love it. Good stuff, Johnny.
Yeah.
Yeah, real good stuff. The other topic we were going to talk about was what we see, and I think part of it is probably our age group, because I think our age is unique, John, because between 35 and 45, we had a heavy portion of our lives that had nothing to do with the internet. And now we have had a heavy portion of our lives that have everything to do with the internet.
Hey,
and
I'm a lot closer to 35. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, you're 38, ain't you?
Yeah, you said 35 to 45. We got to keep it real here.
Oh, this guy. Anyway.
Yeah.
So
I'm below the equator, brother. I'm below the equator.
For not much longer, Fosco. For not much longer. But what's interesting is that our age group, especially being in business in both of those kind of areas, it's like we're seeing traits that are from, let's say, our earlier part of our career that were mandatory, that aren't as common now, but are still mandatory to us because that's how we operate, that are furthering us. And I know you're seeing it, especially because you're in person at the shop, at the store, seeing people as an interfacing, and I do it more on the internet with my interaction, but it's hugely valuable. And I just want to kind of throw that out, and you can speak on it, and then I'll grab it when you're done. So go ahead, Johnny.
I think that people who are listening, who want to find their differentiator, their way to make a name in a company or to do something in business, like, please hear me here. It's not your vast knowledge, because vast knowledge delivered in a way that isn't humane and that doesn't come accompanied with a smile doesn't work with customers. It just doesn't work. No one wants to deal with someone who doesn't have good energy and isn't positive. So we were talking about it before the show. I'm like, you know what, man? I think people who were raised by their parents better are more valuable than people who were raised by college professors to have a higher grade point average and a higher degree. Like, I think those people who were raised with good values are more valuable than those people who were educated with a high degree. And I know, because I see it every day and I have for years, when you like, dude, if you have a low IQ, okay, straight talk, but you smile at people and you understand that the feeling you give to someone is the feeling that they leave your business with. This could be online, this could be in person, whatever. The feeling you give someone is the feeling that they leave with about your business. Okay, I am not discounting the fact that you have to have a quality product or service. That's default. You have to have that. Yep. Okay, we're not talking about that. We're talking about qualities so you can be successful. And if you can consistently on a daily basis be positive and make your mission to treat every customer, whether you're emailing them or whether you're looking them in the eye, with the utmost respect and make them feel valued. Because think about it like this: how many businesses do you go to? How many restaurants do you go to? How many times do you go shopping where you talk to someone and you ask them, "Oh, where's this?" They don't even walk you to the area in their store where it is. I mean, it is so bad right now. It is so bad right now, and we can go into all the reasons why, but I don't want to get into that. It's so bad, and everybody. I think about this every day because I am not normally a outgoing, smiley person. But let me tell you, when I am, it yields phenomenal results. You all have the opportunity to understand that, to say, hey, man, I might not know this, but okay, I'm going to fucking be consistent every day. I'm going to smile every day when I get the opportunity to deal with someone, and I'm going to make them feel valuable. I promise you, if you commit to that, you are going places.
Well, and I can attest to this. This is a real conversation John had with me, where he said, I'm challenging myself to smile more and do these type of things. And what's interesting is John's when you approach John or you see John, whatever you're getting back is not what he's intending also, but you're saying intentionally you are going to not do what's natural, essentially, not because you're being a dick, but just because that's not your general personality. It just isn't, right?
Correct.
And it's like, in the fact that you've aware of that, change that, especially when you're doing what you're doing. Like, I think the other thing too, John, that's huge is a lot of times where the high IQ comes into play, there's an ego that's associated with it. And that those both together are very off-putting. I'm not talking about your situation, obviously. Yours is a whole different deal. You've always had people think you're being mean to them when you're not, which is interesting. But I've noticed people that I've dealt with, because didn't go to college, or I'm not perceived, especially being a muscle guy, I'm not perceived as probably very intelligent a lot of times by stereotypes, and blue collar and all these type of things that I have working against. And I'm not a book smart dude. I'm really not. I do things different than a lot of people. But those things that I do, like, I win because I'm nicer, not than you, but then metaphorically you, the other person that I'm going against. Like, I'm nicer than them. I actually genuinely care about the person. I think about rendering and over delivering my service. I think about how I can beat you at a game that you're not even knowing that I'm beating you at. And I've been doing this shit, whether it's on Twitter, Instagram, in person, at my gym, since I started. And the result that it's yielded is only been growth. So I continue to do it. And as the rest of the world continues to not do it, I, aka we, whoever takes part in this, continues to win even bigger. It is a constant variable that will not change and you should only double down on. Now, luckily, some of these things are pretty natural for me anyway. It's just the way I was born. I can't change that. Sometimes it's been bad for me because it's got me hurt in situations. But when it comes to customer facing, what John said will yield you the result every fucking time. People want to feel like you're appreciative of them showing love to your service, that you actually fucking care. And when you do, like I do and John does, you walk into the store, John's trying to help you cope or have less inflammation or whatever it is. The reason why you're pursuing CBD, he's probably either experienced it, heard it, saw it, whatever. And if he greets you in an inviting way and then helps you answer your need, why wouldn't you come back? I mean, it's like, it's 101. Don't act like you're pissed that you got to walk over to the fucking aisle. You're the one that signed up for the fucking job or started the business. Like, you should have gratitude that somebody's even fucking entertaining that they are going to take part in it. That's why when motherfuckers hit me up and I answer them back within a certain period of time, they go, I can't even believe you answered me. And you're saying not only one thing, but hey, if you need anything else, hit me back. They can't fucking believe it because it's so uncommon. Be the uncommon right now and you're going to win. And by the way, it's not that fucking hard.
No, it's not hard at all. And you know, I think a big part of growing your business, which everyone wants to do, is understanding your customers, what they want, and just a general understanding of how they buy, why they buy, and what they're looking for. And if you don't connect with them, or if you don't bond with them, or if you don't give them what they need, they'll never open up to you, and you will never know what the customer really wants. So a huge benefit to taking this approach is you get the ability to really get that information from the customer. And it's not just, oh, get the information so I can make a sale today. It's no, like, if you're getting that information nonstop every day from every customer you get a chance to interact with, you can then forecast the future of your business and where it's going, guys, because the direction of a business today is going to be different than the direction of a business in a year. That's how it works. But the only way to really steer the ship correctly is to take the directions from the people who fill your fucking register. That's your customer. And they are not going to open up to you if they do not feel like you care.
And it's wild, Johnny, how they can see right through it too, right? Because everybody's had
it. They can feel it.
You can feel it. Yeah, and look, everybody's had bad interactions on accident, or read something wrong, or was preoccupied, and you end up like maybe not doing the job that you would want to do when you speak to somebody or interact with them or take something wrong, whatever. Everybody makes mistakes, but you can fucking, like you said, you can feel it. They can feel it. And you just know, like, if I would approach this, here's what I look. Everything that I'm a part of has people coming back monthly, bi-monthly, yearly. A lot of the businesses that we operate in, you coming back to the podcast, having a good interaction with us, them buying supplements or memberships or whatever the things that we take part in, like, the person that, it's so hard to get somebody to take part in what you believe is a good product. When they have a good experience in a like genuine way, there's people, and I've said this before, that still have been coming to my gym, paying a membership and personal trainers since 1999. There's people that have been buying supplements off me previously and now off John and I since fucking 2009. We're talking like 10, 20 years of business consistently. Do you know what that adds up to? If you could think about that for one fucking second, that if you understand how that small interaction could impact what you're trying to build, it's so fucking important. Like, listen, and I've said it before, but dude, I got a 13 on my ACT. Probably fucking 99% of the people listening to the podcast whooped my ass on that fucking test. And look, I don't even give a fuck. You know why? Because most of the time I'm still beating, from a business standpoint, most of the people I go against, because that's not the fucking determining factor. It's just not, at least with what I do. So yeah, you could have got a fucking 32 perfect, but you could still be fucking broke because you ain't nice to nobody and you ain't got a good product and you don't do the shit that's right. Like, you got to remember that these personal things that are interacting based with just humans, human interaction, and the feeling of being genuine it has carried me so long, and people continue to wonder how. And I'm telling you, this is how. I love what I do and I love helping people. And I spend time daily, tons of time interacting, and I've done it consistently for a really long time. The default of the proper service, the proper products, like John said, is a given. And we do that too. But it's like, that's it, guys. That's the intangible. In this generation right now, I'm not even being an old motherfucker talking about this. I got kids at home and I'm preaching it to them already. They don't talk to each other. They text, they snap, they're on the video games. I'm telling you, like, that's why they have to look people in the eye and shake their hand. They got to say please and thank you. I make them go do things on their own. You have to know how to interact with adults as a kid, because they don't even do that anymore. I'm telling you, it's only going to mean even more as you go down the road. It's gonna be huge, Johnny.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm on some rants today. My bad. That was kind of long.
What I would say is, like, think about it like this: if you get someone to become your customer, it's like, okay, so I only buy. This is just an example. Arm & Hammer washing detergent for my laundry, because it fucking smells good and it really, like, I think it's the best, right? Like, I will not change unless someone gives me a reason to change. So unless somebody is set up in a store and says, listen, what kind of detergent do you use? I use Arm & Hammer. Okay, you got to try these Tide Pods because this, I'm going to fuck it. And they go out of their way and they really, really, really want me to try it. And I can feel it in them. Probably nothing is going to make me change. So what does that mean? That means years and years and years of Arm & Hammer purchases. So I want you guys to understand, when you get one customer, you have to give them a reason to not come back. So if you treat them well, just like I buy Arm & Hammer, they're going to keep coming back because they tried you. You made them feel good. You made them feel important. The product has to be good, right? That's a given. They're going to keep coming back because, guys, we are all creatures of habit. That's what we do. Look, honestly, I want you guys to run that test on yourself. So when you buy peanut butter, do you buy all over the map, or do you buy the same kind? When you buy bread, all this stuff, right? Until you get a fucking thing of bread that has hairs in it or there's fucking fungus on it, you're not going to change. You're not going to change. You're going to keep buying that fucking bread you buy. Corey's going to keep buying his Green Giant fucking green beans. Like,
yes, sir.
No, yeah. Until someone gives you a reason to fucking change, or they fuck up. So every customer you pick up, man, think about the number of purchases that they represent. And then
lifetime value. It's massive.
It's massive, but to get them on board, to get them to try your shit and to service them well, you may look at it as a $50 purchase or a $30. No, you are fucking wrong. It could be a lifetime customer for your business. It may feel small, but that is how you do business, because that shit compounds. And I'll always say it, every customer has a family and friends. Okay. And so when you sell to one person and they feel good about it, now you got 20 people that know about it. Okay. You're going to get a percentage of those people. And if every single person are like, listen, these people treat you well, they have a good product, they are always willing to go the fucking extra mile for me. And it's just different. Like, that is how you build something long-term. And this may sound bad, but it's the truth. even if your product slips, and I am not recommending this, but even if your product slips, loyalty overrides that a lot of the time. People will stick with you, even if your product isn't as good, because of experiences over the years that they've had with you.
But you know what, Johnny? It's just back to the stuff that we talk about all the time. It's the long game, bro. When you have that long game approach, which is what this approach is, lifetime customer, not short-term gain, long-term success. Like, I always think about that. Like, somebody comes to Max Effort for the first time and buys a stack. And I look, and for some reason, UPS, USPS, whatever, lost their fucking order and they didn't get it for 12 days, which happens because we don't fucking drive it to their house. It fucking kills me because I realize it's so hard. That's why I used to get so pissed whenever I used to sell to GNC back in the day. And it would take me all this marketing to get somebody to walk in the door and ask for that brand. And they would go, nah, use the house brand, because that was their part of their deal. They would flip you into the house brand. And I would be so mad when I would secret shop people and they would do it to me. And I'd be like, are you fucking kidding me? It's like so difficult to get that person to try. So when you screw something up, and then if you don't, over communicate it, you're fucking it up. And so on the flip side, it's like when you get that one-time purchase and you look at it like, wait a second, this is a $100 purchase, but this person could buy every other month for the next 17 years. I literally think about that. And you have to treat it that way. And by the way, it is that valuable. You aren't just treating them that way because it's like fake. That is I have so much gratitude that somebody's taking part in what I believed was real, that we could bring to life and that they could enjoy it and get the results and do all these things. And like, I think people think, you know what? Sales today. Let me grab what I can and fuck it. I got their money now. You're fucked if you think that way. And I know motherfuckers that think that way.
Yeah.
That's not how you win the fucking long game. The long game is, guess what? That $8.99 I get for a membership, there's been people on there since 2015. I've treated them right. And they're going to stay. Same with the podcast. We've had people here since Activate Radio. For y'all motherfuckers have been on here a long time. That's how it started. They were there day one. They're still here supporting us because we care and we're over delivering. It's like, man, people just are short-sighted, Johnny. And I've seen it my entire career, and I'm sure you have too. And I've seen so many talented people that have solid ideas that can never get it past a certain spot because this shit eats them up every day. They just too short-sighted, man.
Yeah, it's the combination of the societal pressure and I think a lack of experience with money. Yeah. Because when you have a lack of experience with money, you want, as opposed to, let's say, giving a customer or selling a customer what they need, you want to sell them the most expensive thing. Well, if you sell them the most expensive thing and it's not really what they need, what is the probability that that customer returns? Now, if you sell them what they need and it's a third of the price of the most expensive thing, what's the probability that they come back? It's very high. And then what's the probability that they keep coming back? So, it's hard to see it. I understand for a lot of people listening, it's hard to see it when you haven't seen a business get built from the ground up off $20 sales, $60 sales. But as long as you're operating in truth and truly giving the customer not what you want. See, this is a big difference. Not what you want. Everyone wants the fucking Lamborghini sale, right? No, it's not. It's what they want, and you keep giving them what they want. The old adage, the customer's always right. Well, to a certain extent, to a very high extent, that's true. And we all have to deal with situations where listen, guys, I want you to be aware of this too, where there's customers, especially in this internet age, that can destroy you. They can destroy you on Google reviews, on Yelp, on forums. So I really want people to be aware of as well. Listen, if somebody has a problem and you're like, this is bullshit, like this is total bullshit, you really have to assess that problem and that customer and say, okay, I know it's bullshit, but is it worth the cost of $17? No, because if this dude gets on Yelp, gets on Google, gets on, man, it's going to hurt so much more than $17. Or I can flip, and I'm the biggest advocate of this, especially with the internet. I can flip this angry $17 guy. I'll give him a little extra, because the same guy that's going to go nuts on Yelp and Google is going to go nuts praising you. So listen, he knows or she knows if they're bullshitting you, but if their bullshit wins, let the customer feel like they won, even if they're doing you dirty. Let them feel that, because then they'll go the other way on you. And then that is like a megaphone. So that's a hard thing as an owner to deal with when you know you're getting gamed, but you do not want the blowback. That's a very real issue with this internet age, but I'm telling you, 10 times out of 10, right? Give the customer what they want.
Johnny, that's like one of the 101s of business, is flipping the negative into a positive. And even in this case, you can't do it. You know you're getting taken advantage of. You're going to have to give a little more, but you also know they're coming back next month and you're going to get it back eventually. You know what I'm saying? And on top of it, you're going to turn a negative review into a positive review. How many times have you turned in business somebody that was a fucking Fosco hater into an advocate? Probably a ton, right?
Because what you're doing, what that individual is doing, is they're opening up an opportunity for basically an exchange of ideas, and they're giving me an opportunity to feel what I can give out. And if they feel that I didn't do something right, or they got slighted, or this or that, and then I come back and I not only give them what they want, but I give them more, they're going to realize that they prejudged, they were wrong, and they are going to feel like in this system or in this business that we're operating in this sphere that we're operating in, that they're important. And when people feel important, man, that's when they become your soldiers.
And not feel like a number. In the internet age, everybody can just feel literally like the number on your invoice.
Right.
And if you don't feel like a number on your invoice, like, I hate that fucking feeling as a customer. If I feel like I'm just being thrown to the side like an invoice, especially if I'm trying to get a hold of somebody, I got a problem, it's a fucking issue, no one's fucking answering the phone, or no one answers the email, or fucking they don't even, dude, it's frustrating as shit. There's no way in hell I'm ever going back. You know? So it's like, I remember early days, Max Effort, John, me and you would have, remember we had some problems at one time. We had a list of 20 people each, and we just straight dialed them from our cell phone and said, yo, we fucked this up. Like, we're going to send you an extra fat burner or a t-shirt or whatever it is. Like, there's no other way.
I'm not too good.
No, dude, no, not at all. And in the willingness to, once again, we touched on it a podcast or two ago, the willingness to go all the way down to the entry level job to build the business is extremely important.
I would say it's mandatory.
It's mandatory.
It's mandatory. Like, at the end of the day, I was talking about this earlier this morning. The work has to be done. And what better person to do the work and have people see doing the work than the person, leading the ship?
Yeah, because I reached out to a couple their acquaintances that own CrossFit gyms to see if they want to bring in CBD Social, and essentially making, like, they're not cold calls, you know what I'm saying, but they're warm calls for sure. But at the end of the day, like, I was doing this in a much different capacity not very many years ago, where they were, thousands of doors and tons of money and all, and it's like, but I fucking enjoy that, because that's how that process starts again. You have to go through somebody bringing in. Exactly. You got to go through the part of every sale at 10 bottles or 10 pain creams or whatever. That's how it leads to
That's how you get to 50.
Exactly. And so I never really think about like, oh, I'm too good to call a single door gym owner. I think, fuck, I can't wait to see the process go again. And so I think that people trip out on that stuff. But that's also ego being tied to it, you know? So it's
100%.
It's interesting. And the other thing is, like you said, that interaction, don't dodge it, guys. Don't dodge the interaction. Look, everybody by nature is a little bit more probably to themselves nowadays, maybe than ever because of technology. Don't dodge the interaction. Talk more.
Embrace it.
Open up. Embrace it,
dude.
And I'm on the other side of things. Like I probably talk too much to random people, and I'm always commenting on the people when I'm out. I think honestly, I'll be straight with you. I think it makes life more interesting. I like talking to random motherfuckers. You never know what you're going to run into or see.
I got two words for you, Corey.
What?
Free Meek.
Yes. You got to watch the documentary, Johnny.
I saw one.
I'm telling you.
Saw one of them.
No, did you see?
I read up. I read extensively about a month ago.
It's bad, Johnny. It's bad.
No, yeah, no. I mean, I read the whole deal on the judge and everything, and the judge is the problem because
obsessed with them.
What's stunning is that the judge is the referee, and then you have the defense and the prosecutor, and the prosecutor is like, throw it out, and the defense obviously is like, okay, cool, but never does the judge, who is the referee, like in a basketball game, like the judge is stepping in and saying, no, wait, you're supposed to referee both sides. Both sides are in agreement. It is really unbelievable. And then for the judge to ask him and Nicki Minaj to fucking to remix a fucking and then fucking shout her out at like you know, it's stunning that can happen in our justice system, and it can only happen to the poor inner city people who cannot defend them. This justice system is truly about the haves and the have-nots. Because if you don't have it, man, I'm scared for those people, straight up.
Meek would have been in jail 4 years, bro. I mean, if he didn't have a voice. Like, if you guys, whether you like rap music or not, you should watch Free Meek on the Amazon Prime. It'll give you a real look. Like, my family I watched it twice because I just had it on the background the second time. And then my family, like AG was watching it. I had everybody watch it. The questions that my kids had, like, but the policeman lied because they were stealing off these people. Like,
it was unbelievable. That was
unbelievable. And the fact that a guy that did make it out of that situation, that has had his slip ups or whatever, is contributing to society, and then have the most outrageous situation with that judge on top of people doing him wrong.
Attitude, bro. I think the story of his story is, you know, being a rapper, or, you know, being a figure that he is. His attitude, as opposed to being negative about it. I think Van Jones said it best. I'm a big fan of Van Jones from CNN. He's cool. He used to work for Obama. He said, you know, what he did was he because he has such a voice, as opposed to the justice system putting him on trial, he put the justice system on trial. And that's what he did by keeping cool and just sticking like to the points, and still, like he said, like, yeah, I'm fucked up. It fucked me up. But like, used music as his outlet, and he just stayed the course. He did what he had to do. He didn't act like an idiot, and he just, you know, went to the people who can make a difference. And he literally did put the system on trial.
The perseverance, Johnny, of Meek is extremely inspiring. And, you know, I've been a massive fan, especially since this last album and just all what he's been going through. But seeing that in its entirety made me even more of a fan, and extremely inspiring, because he had every reason to give up, act crazy, be mad.
I like how vulnerable the guy is. Like, the guy is clearly, openly saying, I am in pain. I'm traumatized. I'm vulnerable. And for, you know, a big tough rapper, you know, that's not how they go. But that's what I respect most.
And that's why people feel it, bro. And that's why I wanted, like, no matter the language or the situation, whatever, I had my whole family watch it because I was like, look, this is what's happening. This is why Dad listens to Meek so much, because he inspires me.
This is why you hear Meek when we have Sunday dinners.
Exactly. Hip hop's ever present in my household, so that's nothing new. But it's one of those things where it is. I don't know. You love music and what it does for you, and all music has different meanings to different people. But it's inspiring, and hopefully it'll help things change. But I'm actually really glad you brought that up, because people need to watch that for sure.
Free Meek.
So, all right, free Meek. We'll wrap it up. So without anything else, Johnny, first of all, go to @businessandbiceps on Instagram, subscribe if you're not here on iTunes. And, if you have any questions, send it over to us on direct message. Without further ado, Johnny Fosco.
G.
Can the podcast be stopped?
The podcast
can't
be stopped.
Meek, no.